Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping into a story that all started with what sounded like a crazy dream on a lockdown Zoom call and ended up as an absolutely unforgettable adventure for 13 old friends. It's a story all about chaos, friendship, and how a wild idea can actually become reality. So picture this. It's the middle of the pandemic lockdown, and on a group Zoom call, one friend, a guy named Parno, just blurts out that he wants to go to Japan. Of course, everyone laughed. It sounded completely out of reach. But that one little joke, well, it ended up sparking an epic journey for the whole group. So how in the world does a joke on a Zoom call turn into a real-life trip with packed bags? I mean, what does it actually take to get 13 adults to just drop everything and go chase a dream that seemed, well, impossible? Let's get into it.
Okay, so the initial plan was, let's just say, super modest. Parno's original dream was a real shoestring adventure. We're talking a total budget of about $600. The food, Yoshinoya bowls and cup noodles. The sights, only the free ones. But as you can see, what actually happened was a little more ambitious.
Yeah, that simple idea just completely caught fire. One friend after another started saying, "Hey, I'm in." And before they knew it, Parno's solo trip turned into this massive reunion for 13 friends. The group decided, look, if we're going all the way to Japan, we're going to do it right. The budget tripled, and suddenly the plan included seeing the cherry blossoms, playing in the snow, and of course seeing the incredible Mount Fuji.
So with this grand new plan locked in, the journey was on. But here's the thing. Before they even landed in Japan, the group's special brand of chaos was already on full display during a layover in Manila. And right at the center of it all, you guessed it, one man.
This trip almost ended before it even really began, all thanks to a series of classic Parno moments. First, he seriously planned to take a motorbike taxi to the airport with 2 giant suitcases. Then, in Manila, he just walks up to their ride and tries to open the driver's side door to hop in. At airport security, he gets stopped because they think he has a bullet in his bag. Turns out, it was just a keychain. And just when they thought the coast was clear, they realize his digital travel pass is missing his name. It was a total last-minute panic. So after all that, they finally make it to Japan. And right away, you could see exactly what their friendship was all about. They absolutely adored Parno, but they also had this lifelong tradition of playing pranks on him. So what's the first thing they do in Tokyo? They convince him to go into one of those huge maze-like Don Quixote stores, and poof, they just vanished, leaving him all alone to find his way out. You know, this trip was just this perfect mix of contrasts. On one hand, you have the absolutely awe-inspiring beauty of Japan, and on the other, you have this group's wonderfully silly antics. It's the best combination. So they get to this town called Kawazu, and they literally walk into a scene that looks like a painting. You've got cherry blossoms everywhere, this beautiful bridge over a river, mountains in the distance. It was just one of those moments of pure, quiet magic. And this moment right here captures the entire trip perfectly. In the middle of this stunning, breathtaking scenery, Parno decides to pose for a picture on a giant chair. Of course, he immediately gets a massive leg cramp and twists himself into this bizarre pose that has all his friends bursting out laughing. It's just the sublime and the ridiculous, all rolled into one. Next stop was Gala Yuzawa. Now, you have to remember, these are friends who grew up in a town right on the equator. So for them, seeing a world completely covered in pure white snow, it was like a dream. Just this peaceful, pristine landscape that felt like a whole other planet. So how do you think this group of lifelong friends reacted to this quiet, serene winter wonderland? Well, obviously, with an immediate, all-out snowball fight. It was just pure, joyful chaos. Which, of course, ended with Parno getting ceremoniously body-slammed into a huge pile of snow. So let's talk about the Parno paradox. It's so funny how this one guy, whose dream started this whole adventure, also became the hilarious, lovable center of every single joke. He was like a walking, talking comedy of errors, creating these unforgettable moments one after another. The list of Parno's travel blunders is just legendary. I mean, there was the time he got left behind at the train station because of a badly timed bathroom break, or when he pointed directly at a friend's burger and, with all seriousness, asked, "Is that a burger?" He once held out the entire ticket gate because he couldn't figure out which of his dozen used tickets was the right one. And standing in front of a completely fog-covered Mount Fuji, his only question was, "So where's Fujifilm?" And you can't forget the time he was tricked into just marching in circles around a pillar in a busy station. Every single blunder became a story they'd tell forever.
So after days and days of getting lost, falling for every prank, and generally causing chaos for their carefully planned schedule, the group decided that court was officially in session. They held a fake trial, listing all of Parno's travel crimes, and declared that he had to pay for his sins.
The verdict was in. But the sentence that this little mock court handed down, it led to a moment that was so shocking, so completely unexpected, that nobody who had known him for decades could have ever seen it coming. In a moment that their travel blog calls, and I quote, historic, Parno, the same guy who complained about the price of a 50,000 rupiah ice cream, actually treated the entire group to dinner. His friends were speechless. It was a moment that would go down in history. But when you peel back all the layers of laughter and pranks and mishaps, this trip was about something so much deeper. It was this powerful reminder of the incredible bond of friendship that brought them all there in the first place. It all kind of came together on one of their last nights. A couple of the friends are just sitting in this small sake bar in Tokyo, and it hits them. The real meaning of the trip. This was never just a vacation, it was a celebration of their shared history and this unbelievable present moment. They were just a bunch of kids from the same small town, now sharing a drink together in a city they'd only ever dreamed about. And in the end, that's what it's all about. The sharpest memories weren't the cherry blossoms or the snow. They were the shared laughs, the inside jokes, the quiet moments. This whole story is just a beautiful reminder that the best journeys, they aren't measured in miles. They're measured in memories. It really makes you think, what's the journey that's unforgettable for you?